Hey there, I'm Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up for Sunday, May 17th, 2020. Today I've been guided to start with performing a song that I wrote, original song here on the piano called Old Story. This is not a channeled piece. This is one that I wrote and chewed on, trying to put together my thoughts around relationships and what I've learned about redirecting my mind and put that in a song. So that's what I'm going to start with. And then I've been guided to look at the chart for the United States and the current transits. I have not looked at it ahead of time. And then I'll do a little tarot reading with the and channel after that for whoever is watching this that needs to know something. And hopefully I'll keep it all within 30 minutes so it stays on one video. Let's see. All right, I'm going to start with this song, Old Story. After a lifetime of confusion, I'm finally clear. I didn't realize my options. I acted out of fear. When I feel the pull to something or someone not for me, when my mind is locked in obsession, I have found the key. I just say to myself, that's an old story. That is not my path. That is not my guy. That is not my food. That is not my business. That's just not for me. You can have that guy. Today I choose to open my heart fully. I'm over choosing pain. I know that life has lots of good things for me. I can step out of the rain. I have spent my whole life tending others, ignoring my own needs. Selfish men have been my lifelong pattern. Now I pull those weeds. I just say to myself, that's an old story. That is not my path. That is not my guy. That is not my food. That is not my business. That's just not for me. You can have that guy. Now I firmly trust my intuition. Let it guide me on my way. I make time to sit completely quiet and breathe throughout my day. I have a self-care toolkit and I use it. I suggest you have one too. Mostly I have loving thoughts and feelings, but if not, here's what I do. I just say to myself, that's an old story. That is not my path. That is not my guy. That is not my food. That is not my business. That's just not for me. Please, keep that guy. Okay, so there's that. So I'm going to switch and come over here. Hopefully the lighting will be okay to switch gears and come over here near my Buddhist altar. And let's see, I'm going to put my phone here, which I think I can then kind of talk and look at the chart and channel and try to do it all from the same space. A little bit of weird lighting. Okay, whatever. I'm a novice. This is not about looks. This is about getting a message. That's what I've been told over and over, to get out of my own way. Okay, so here I have pulled up in front of me the chart of the United States of America, which the date that I have is, we were born on Thursday, the 4th of July, 1776 at 5:10 p.m. in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. So that's what I'm using. That's sort of the most used. There's several different charts that people use, but that's the one, which makes the United States a Cancer sun, a Sag rising, and an Aquarius moon. And for anybody else that wants to know, the Mercury and Venus is in Cancer, Mars is in Gemini. So that makes a lot of sense. So Mars is a planet of taking action. Gemini is the twins that rules the head, and it's it's Jekyll Hyde's two different things. So when it comes to taking action as a country, it's hard to get unity with our Mars in Gemini. It's there's this duplicitous nature and splitting of heads, so it gets in the way of us moving forward. That's so true. Okay, so the sun today, as I'm reading this, is at 27 degrees of Taurus. So, and that is square America's moon. So, highlighting some of this internal struggles that we're sort of born with is how I would also interpret that. And I kind of come to Jesus is what I'm hearing. Like, let's see everything very clearly. Let's look at what we're really dealing with right here. And America has Pluto at 27 degrees. And right now, Jupiter is on top of that. That makes sense as well. Okay, so Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. We've got it in Capricorn. It's 27 degrees. America does. So Jupiter now today, the planet of expansion, learning, knowledge, is at 27 degrees Capricorn today. So we're having this expansion of the transformation principle happening. And these are slow moving planets. So we're definitely in this transformation period. Pluto is also conjunct Pluto. We're having sort of a Pluto return. Right now, Pluto's at 24 degrees. It's retrograde. It had bumped up to 25. So next year, it'll start traipsing. We'll have a Pluto return, which is also can be gnarly. Pluto on top of Pluto. Like, I just feel like we're under hard times and transformational times for a while if you're expecting things to be the same or to go back to normal. There is not a normal. Okay, here's another interesting thing. America has the Mars at 21 degrees Gemini. And Venus just went retrograde at 21 degrees Gemini. And so we're doing this whole retrograde period on how we're going to move forward, right? And so Venus doesn't start going direct until the end of June. And then it doesn't get back to this 21 point until the end of July, which means like trying to pursue passions, trying to do what we want to put our love and energy into, looks like it may not be possible until the very end of June, beginning of August. And that's just looking at that one transit. We also have Mercury conjunct Uranus right now. Mercury, the planet of communication, also rules technology, transportation, and Uranus rules that. I mean, like Uranus is like the higher octave of Mercury. So we're having Mercury conjunct Uranus. So there's like unexpected things being popped out of the media and in relationships with each other. Interesting. So I see America having its Sun, its Mercury, its Jupiter, and Venus all in Cancer in the 8th house. So if this was a person's chart, I would say, oh, you're a channel, you're a healer. Like wanting to put your energy into things in this chart are like death and transformation and healing and regeneration. And so that's kind of what but channeling, to be a channel, you have to be open. Like in order for me to channel, I have to get out of my own head. I have to get out of my own emotional body. I have to like slide my brain, what I think, to the side, slide my body to the side to be open to like, okay, what's just coming through right now? And so in order for America to really progress as a nation, there's going to have to be this openness of mind and willingness to try new things and slide what we think and what we perceive and what we've been feeling aside and birth something new. Like all that planet and all these signs in planets in the sign of Cancer is also the divine mother, the divine nurturer. And that was the thing when I was chanting this morning that I was getting coming through was that, each of us have a divine feminine and a divine masculine within us. And, it's modeled ideally in the most beautiful ways by our parents, right? That's the ideal scenario, is we just have the most perfect experience of the divine mom and the divine dad and our birth parents, which most of us that I know didn't have anywhere near that. And so we choose parents, I believe, to come in with the karma that we already have in our life. If we're wounded in our childhood, I can guarantee you, whatever ways you were wounded in childhood, you have perpetrated on someone else in another lifetime, or you wouldn't be experiencing that as a child. That's how everybody can own your own karma. And good news and bad news with that is can't really fathom our karma. And even I can do past life regressions for people. We can get glimpses into what the stories were in other lifetimes, and what are we doing, this lifetime as well. What's a repeat of this pattern? Because we all repeat patterns to learn. That's how we learn, through repetition. And so our soul learns through patterns too. And if we didn't learn, we will have a pattern set up to learn what we didn't learn. If you don't complete a course in this lifetime, guess what? That's going to be the coursework that you get next lifetime. So that's why when people are I don't believe in the death penalty, for example, because I feel like it gets people off the hook. And it just you can't change karma when you're between lifetimes, and then you just get back in and you stay at the same level that you went out as. So if you murder a criminal, and to me, the death penalty is murder as well. It makes no sense. Murder for eye for an eye. It doesn't really, makes everybody blind, right? But if you kill someone who's murderous and they don't change that karma, you've just created another murder to come back in, because they'll come back in at the same kind of place that they left off. And so what kind of environment does that look like for someone? It's going to be probably a horrific childhood that's going to be full of abuse and horrific things, because that's kind of the karma that's set up. So, and conversely, if you've set really great causes and you've done really beautiful things for people, you may come into this amazing, beautiful life where you have all kinds of fortune and great health and a beautiful body and parents that love you and a community that's supportive, and that's the higher octave. And so the good news is, once you get conscious and start working on evolving and growing right now, because we can't change anything that's gone down before, no matter what it was. We can only change the causes we set in this present moment, and that's what creates our life. With the causes we set today creates our future. So that's all that's jumping at me right now to go in with astrology, because I want to try to keep this tape to 30 minutes, and so I want to have time to do an astrology reading, because this is where I think it's going to be answering somebody's question that they've asked. All right. So like I do for all my private readings, I just try to tune in to whatever is for your highest good, whatever you need to see, hear, know right now, whatever's most important to come up. I've only done this one other time when I did this on my video a few weeks back. So we'll see. I got a lot of great feedback, by the way. And thank you all who have been commenting, calling, texting, messaging, emailing me with comments. I really appreciate it. I would love it if you subscribe to this new YouTube page. I promise it'll get prettier and more fluffier and whatever. And I'll buff and polish it and it'll look all professional and stuff. But I still want it to keep it from the cuff and be real and honest. And that's where I'm coming from today. Not a shred of makeup. You can see how the allergens here in Austin, Texas have affected me with puffy eyes and all that. And who cares? Right, because it's not about the physical body, because we put this physical body down when we leave this place. And so it's enjoying being in the physical body is important, but not, it's just a spacesuit we're putting on this lifetime. I have a lot of women clients, a lot of female friends that really start going through some real distress as they age. Men too, but women more, because we've had more pressure to look perfect our whole lives. And so hopefully we're changing that paradigm where the focus is not on how beautiful is she and can she birth babies and, and does she look pretty on your arm, to we all need that divine within ourselves, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So back to that topic. Thank you guys for pulling my ADD self back on track. So ideally, one of the things I do in the morning is when I'm chanting here is I will chant to get in touch with my own Buddha nature. And what does that really mean? Because I believe we all have a Buddha within. And not that we're all God, but we're all tapped into this matrix, this infinite energy, and we have a piece of that divine within us. And our soul is connected to that energy, and that's what goes on after we die, all right? And so what I see showing up a lot in relationships is woundedness, and how that plays out in the relationships, because you bring your woundedness with you into your relationships, and we unconsciously, subconsciously pick partners who usually reflect one of our parents if we haven't worked through our issues with our parents. And my two most recent long-term relationships, one was very much like my karma with my mother, and the other was very much like the karma with my father. So my father committed suicide when I was 15, and so the issues of abandonment and men bailing and not being able to, suit up and show up on a daily basis shows up. And then my mother was very negative and critical and kept a lot of that to herself. Didn't voice a lot of that, but being psychic and empathic, I felt it. And later put a lot of the covert cray-cray that I felt together and realized that, yeah, if you're in an environment where your parent is harboring critical thoughts and feelings towards you and you're empathic and psychic, you're not going to feel very loved or supported or nurtured. And so that's the other theme that I drew in with a person who was negative and critical and would, instead of working through or talking through, would just be harboring these negative thoughts and feelings. And the other thing that I see in relationship is that people, when they haven't worked through their stuff, they dump it, they project it on the people around them and blame them. Someone who's working on themselves in any way, shape, form, or fashion will usually own their stuff. I'm sorry I did this. I can see where I've done this. They're willing to listen to how they're impacting the other person and take it in and make adjustments. I mean, that's a healthy, functioning person. Someone who hasn't done their work, doesn't want to look. A lot of people are afraid to look at that stuff that they've suppressed and shoved in, because it can be some gnarly looking stuff. But just like you want to lance a wound it's a boil that's infected. You have to somehow clear and heal that old stuff to get it out, or it will show up and it'll get in your face and it'll keep repeating over and over again. When you heal something, you don't have to keep having that show up in your life, I can really even tell evolution in clients in my own life through, when you learn something and it starts to shift or change. Like in my evolution of relationships, I can see the karmic pattern shifting and changing. Like I had a very strong abusive pattern that it was, emotional, physical, verbal, until the last round, it was just the covert, which was like, oh, this is where it's coming from. I see. And then pulling that out. And then what I've been drawing to me in recent times is just some healthy individuals and a whole different energy, and also a very innate ability to set boundaries and say no to things that don't work for me instead of trying to always please the other person. And so anyway, that's enough about me. All right, sitting here with the cards in front of me. The first overall situation card is the completion card. So this is bringing something to fruition, full circle, bringing something, I'm done with this. Like someone is saying, I am so done with this. No, I've been trying to put the pieces together. I just put the last piece in the puzzle. Now I can see clearly, F this, I ain't doing it. That's somebody out there saying, I'm done. I'm ready for a rebirth. I'm ready to transformate the situation. Okay, so this story. Down here we have, I don't know if you can see, is a llama. Llama? Camel. Something over there. That stores and doesn't move around. It's pretty sedentary, right? So out of this is this lion that's emerging. Okay, so what? The lion is like, rah, he's raging here. So a lot of times it's anger at someone or something that propels us. It actually gets us into motion, right? You can't stay this angry. Like, I've always thought it was interesting that the word courage has the word rage in it. Like and the lion is often a symbol of courage. So sometimes, something that gets you mad actually gets you in motion. But if you stay in that angry space, of course, that's not good for your body or anyone else. So tempering that, pulling the innocence. What is the direction? spread, lightening it up, getting it, like making a song. He's playing a flute here, like make a song out of it, get creative, lighten up. Like, so this is a whole like evolution from being stuck to getting pissed off to like, wait a minute, finding this spiritual way to flow with it, finding the light in the situation, making music, making something super positive out of it. This too, this is the bridge that's crossing. This means like right now. This is an adventure opening up. So this is like, follow your intuition. I always tell everybody to listen. What today do you feel guided to do? That's all you have to ever figure out is today. And so this is what it looks like when you follow your intuition every day. You don't have to know where it's going or what that looks like. You just have to know, well, this is the right space right now to be moving through. This feels right. When you're doing the right thing, you get, confirmation from the universe. You get insights. You'll get an insight, for example, and you'll get a dream or a vision or whatever. And then you might have a confirmation. Like maybe you thought, oh, I should really try to start doing yoga regularly. And maybe it just keeps being a recurring thought. Maybe you had a dream where you're doing yoga in your dream, and maybe you're doing it on a mountaintop or something really cool like that. And then you turn on the car radio and there's a yoga commercial, and then you like open a magazine or it drops open and it drops up into a yoga app. Those are just examples of how the universe can kind of mirror back to you a confirmation. Conversely, if you're on the wrong path, you ask the universe, you can ask, show me, guide me, make it really loud and clear. Am I on the right path or not? Like, guide me, show me signs that I'm on the right path or the wrong path. And if you ask and then wait to see, you'll be shown. You can be shown with direct downloads of clarity, insight. Those are the best. You can be just shown again and again and again in your environment, because sometimes we're afraid to look at what the truth is. We're afraid we won't like what the path is that's in store for us. Our higher self has our back. It won't lead us into stuff that won't produce growth for a good purpose and reason. Like, we won't have to go through hell without it producing some really great stuff. It won't lead us through hard stuff without it being some fruit and benefit on the other side. Okay, so these cards represent whatever you're thinking about. Okay, this is friends, friendliness. This is the miser card. So these are two different issues I'm seeing. Okay, this is about people are missing their friends and connections with other ones, and like really wanting to see people they haven't been able to spend time with, and really missing their connection with friends, and then having to reinvent your friends. It also could be someone who's worried about a friend or worried about a relationship and thinking about a friendship or a connection. So, and having fear around it, or because miser represents fear. It specifically represents fear around money. Nobody out there with those kind of issues right now, huh? That would be on your mind. Everybody, right? Okay, so fear. False evidence appearing real. We are manifestors. We create. We're generating like a big projector. And what we're projecting out into the universe is what we experience, right? And we project from what we say, what we're thinking, what we do, our actions, and what we're holding as our beliefs. And that's usually where the gnarly, like if you don't like what your environment says, like, well, I've been doing all the way, I've been doing it. Well, for one thing, that tone is saying you're going, is not a positive, is not going to create, it's like, it's a negative tone. Even like, you're like, yeah, I've been saying I'm abundantly blessed and prosperous. Okay, well, that tone doesn't match the, right? It's like, okay, you're abundantly blessed and prosperous, right? There's an infinite supply that you can tap into. All of us can tap into. It's not contingent on all these things and build up in government, and like, we all have a direct connection to source. Therefore, we all have a direct connection to everything that we need. How do we go about getting that? Not by getting so afraid that we can't even see straight. Because when you get in the fear, I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything. I'm afraid I'm going to well, you're generating all these fear thoughts. That's what you're manifesting. And I know it's hard not to go there, but you can at least try to pull yourself back and go, okay, I have everything I need today. Like, just reel it in. Like, do you have food to eat today? Do you have clothes on your back today? Do you have a place to sleep today? Do you have a car to drive today, or a way to get around today? Like, okay, if you have everything today, like, so you have unpaid bills, are they going to come knock on your door to get that money from you today? No? Okay, then let it go. There's nothing you can do about it. If you don't have enough money in your bank account to cover the bills right now, Got to turn it over. Say, all right, universe, show me, guide me. Let me not get in fear and get wrapped around this and you don't want to co-create the fear. To create a different paradigm, you have to step out of the fear, right? Step into love, hope, joy, positive expectation. And it's training. It's like when there's a skip in a record and you train yourself, you train yourself every time you put on that record, you know where that skip is. Our brains, our patterns are deeply woven grooves, and it takes repetition to put a new groove down. So if you've been steeped in fear around money for your whole lifetime, it takes regular applications of a positive message and a different belief system every day, like washing yourself with new beliefs every day, honing it, making it real, getting behind it, not just thinking it like I'm abundantly blessed and prosperous. Okay, what does that feel like? Can you feel abundantly blessed and prosperous? Like I feel totally, like I use the word fortune. I feel like I have amazing fortune, and it shows up that I always get my needs met. Not only that, as a single parent of 6, my kids' needs have always been met. And so I trust that I'll get guided every day, not only for myself, but what my kids need. Now I'm just down to one dependent that is a little over 17 years old. I'm off this ride within a year, the ride of a parent, being that I have 6 children. My oldest will be 34 in December. So been doing this train a long time. So now I have more time to do my work though, since my energy is more freed up. I homeschooled everybody too. So, okay, underneath the scene, creativity, clinging to the past. This is what's underneath the scene. And so these are like what gets out pictured later. So if you get into this time and say, I'm going to just be open to channel something new here. I'm going to be open to write, be inspired. The clinging to the past card is like, this is the stuff that's going to get in your way. Unresolved stuff, it's going to be brought up in your face right now. Venus retrograde, I guarantee you, if you don't know what your stuff is, get your journal out, because Venus retrograde will be showing you if she hasn't already. Recent past, people dealing with depression, death, also new beginnings. This is the no thingness card, is a blank clean slate, a new beginning. There's some stuckness, right? And so if you're stuck in fear, you won't have the creative wherewithal to manifest something really wonderful and new. You'll just be, and eating or smoking and using and like binge watching Netflix, which, you can do that with your time. That will end up making you feel like this. This is near future. This is depression card. A lot of people dealing with depression. Reach out to someone and help someone else. That is one of the core things. If you're down a hole, help someone else with something. It will pull you out the quickest for anything. Like, it'll help you get your mind off yourself and your own struggles. There's always someone in a worse situation than you. Celebration. This is like getting with your girlfriends, having a good time, dancing, putting on music. Find ways to laugh. Find ways to lighten up. Find ways to socialize where you feel safe and joyful, right? All right, guidance cards, slowing down. These also are representing everybody. So listening to guidance, listen to your intuitions. We're not moving through this quickly. We don't have to figure out where we're going quickly. We're going to have lots of time to chew on this stuff. So breathe, enjoy your day. Like, I did some guided breath work and visualization on last week. So if you didn't watch that at the end of it, check that out, because you can turn that on and just like do some breath work to clear your chakras. I'm going to put out a separate video that's just guided meditations at some point. That's what I've been told anyway. This is the environment. So if I was doing a reading for you, this would be someone showing up in your environment. This is the psychic, the intuition. This is someone who's relying and integrating their intuition in their life. This is the harmony card. This is someone you may be feeling psychically. You might not even have a physical contact with this person. You may just be feeling them psychically, intuitive. There's a heart connection. There's a synchronicity. The third eye's activated. When you think of each other, there's a magnetic, real connection. So someone out there is thinking of someone else, and know that if you're thinking of them and you have a psychic connection with this person, it's kind of like when you call someone, ring, it starts ringing. The same thing on psychically. When you have a psychic connection with someone and you just put them on your thoughts or radar, it's like it rings psychically within their system and they pick up, right? There's something within your system knows that. That's why people all the time go, oh, I was just thinking about you when, someone calls or whatever. It happens a lot when you're trying to develop your psychic abilities. Okay, hopes and fears. People are afraid. Schizophrenia card and the dream where it's not going to happen, where you're sitting here by yourself. It's not going to. A lot of fears are up. Again, you got to clear out the fears, whatever you're afraid of. Look at it in the face. I don't know if anybody read the book Dune by Frank Herbert. They made movies out of it, right? Fear is the mind killer. Truthful statement there. Okay, I'm going to go through this quickly because I'm wrapping up here. Moment to moment card. This is, again, what I've been saying. Figure out today. That's all. You only have to figure out today. Once you get good at figuring out today, you'll realize there's a flow. And that's all you have to do is figure out today. Be open to new insights, new things, new teachings. If it's something for you, the universe will show you more than one time. It won't just give you one opportunity to learn something. It kind of beats you down sometimes if you don't learn your lessons. Traveling card. There are definitely people getting on the road, shifting, changing. This can also be symbolic of like a spiritual journey that you're on. I also feel though it's literally someone's going to the mountains, needs to head away, go off by yourself to get some insight, guidance, maybe even connect with a spiritual guru because this person's here. Wisdom. Like, when you hear truth, your system knows truth. Your mind may not be confused whether you're hearing truth or not. Your system knows truth from BS. So trust that. Especially with all this Gemini energy going on and duplicitous stuff everywhere. Control card. You can't control things right now. What can you control? You can control what you put in your mouth, how you move your body, your rest. Like, this is when self-care habits can make you feel like you have control over the situation, that you can't control what's going on out there in the world. We don't know. We're afraid we can't. We can. This card, look, this little kid looks, I can't. Or just telling yourself, I can't. If you tell yourself you can't, you won't. Whatever you fill in the blank after I can't, period. That's the block, right? This lock is hanging there. I don't know if you can see this in the card, but it's just hanging there. It's not fastened. So it symbolizes that we tell ourselves we can't, and then we can't. If we tell ourselves I can, what's this first step? I don't know. Oh, the lock. And then the chain. And then you open the door and then you step out. And then you're back to the adventure card and you just take one step at a time. Well, this way is where it's all lit up today. Buddha card. Get into those spiritual practices. Yep. Flowering card. It's what's going to help you grow and give you the power and the energy to go after what you want. Okay, that's it. I'm going to wrap up. Hopefully this will be on one tape. Peace. Y'all have a great day. Listen to your own intuition. All right. And stay psyched up. That means listen to your own intuition. That's the whole psyched up thing. That's what it's about. Stay psyched up.